We're back on Grandstand. Had some technical difficulties. Thank you for staying with us, but what a game one we've had so far. Connor Garnett 7-0 up over Ben Johns here. Will Dott and Michelle Esquivel bringing you the call. Thanks for waiting with us through the technical difficulties. Should be all good now.
Is up 7-0 here in game number one. As I mentioned to you during our technical difficulties, Will, he's playing so much better today than we saw yesterday against Quang Duong.
What specifically do you think he's doing better today that he wasn't executing yesterday?
I feel like his energy is just so different today. Like, his shots are so much cleaner. It's like the desire to win against Ben Johns is a lot higher, it feels like. You know, it's not like, you know, he's doubting himself out there, or it looks like he's confident. Connor Garnett looks great. And hopefully he could just keep this up. As we all know, Ben Johns doesn't start well during matches. This is no secret.
You mentioned Connor Garnett maybe just kind of wanting this a little bit more against Ben Johns. He did win this matchup in pool play last year. In two, that was 14-12, 11-6.
Wow.
Continues to close in on taking this opening game. 9-1 now for Garnett.
9-1.
That point was so identical to the last one this time. Ben Johns taking a lot more pace off of that angle shot, taking away the ATP from Connor Garnett.
And you think about, you know, even going back to that previous point, how many great shots Ben had to hit just to get the side out.
Yeah,
right?
these
That's
points.
the level that Garnett's playing at
Right.
now.
These points are just such high quality points. And a smart play there from Ben Johns, going to the strength of Connor Garnett and opening up the forehand side. And you'll see that, you know, going to the forehand first, Connor Garnett's a little bit, you know, readier on his backhand side. So Ben Johns knows what to do. He's just going to have to pick and choose the timing of these spots that he wants to hit.
Just clean.
Yeah, clean. We both said it.
The exact same thing. That's how you know it's true, right? Just clean, smooth stroke there from Garnett. Brings up a game point, 10-3. In probably 8 or 9 minutes here. And interestingly enough, Michelle, these two actually haven't played since February in Mesa. John's taking that one in 2 games in the semifinals. Well read there from Garnett. Takes it early, goes cross court on the roll.
It's always tough to close out a game, especially when you have such a big lead.
Just great sequencing there from Garnett, and can also be tough, you know, when you're playing against Ben Johns, right? There's got to be that mental pressure there as well. And game one goes the way of Connor Garnett, 11-3. What a performance here, Machine Hat. Then he'll put it on backwards going into the next game, and he'll be a completely different player. We haven't seen that yet, but we have seen a different Ben Johns through 2 points.
Yes, absolutely. He definitely turns it on, and I feel like in the first game he gets the looks. He you know, Lionel Messi in soccer, how Messi just walks around and observes what's going on, and I feel like that's kind of what Ben Johns does in game one. Oh, just wide there, but Ben Johns had Connor Garnett all over the court there, utilizing every single inch.
Did not miss that one by too much. This is big, a 2-0 lead for Johns here in game 2. Needed to get out to a good start, and he has thus far.
That's what it takes for the side out.
I appreciate this crowd. It is a Thursday morning, 11 a.m. local. Pretty much full here on Grandstand.
People love their pickleball.
Especially in San Clemente.
Ben Johns laughs it off as he saw that ball bounce a little funny. We did mention this court's a little funky. We've got some rough spots. Great setup on the return of serve from Ben Johns, going to that far corner.
I like how he went shorter on the backhand volley because Connor Garnett had so much space that he had to cover to, you know, not only move laterally but also move up in the court.
Way to handle it. Ben Johns makes it look so easy. Gets in position super early, prepares for the shot like you've seen it a million times.
And he's probably hit it 1,000,002 times.
Big slat forehand from Ben Johns, giving him.
Be on the lookout for that in future matches.
Yeah, I wonder how Connor Garnett feels about that one when he had a battle yesterday and Pablo comes in, you know, as a substitute and takes that,
right.
You know, coming into the pool play. It's interesting. Oh, nice little hands battle there. We love that.
Don't see that a ton in singles. Awesome to have it going right at each other. Nice awareness from Garnett to let that one go above his shoulder.
So good from Ben Johns with that one-hander. He's just so out in front, so in control. The contact that he makes with the ball is just so precise. Little look from yesterday's action, you know, Connor Garnett just seems to be in the right spot in order to just kind of reflect the ball off his paddle face to the opening court.
Just reads it so well off the bounce. I think the term you used was kind of short hopping it. He did that on that last point as well. Working his way back here, 3-4.
3-4.
And again, just too good. You know, we're seeing Ben Johns kind of not necessarily drop volleys, but hitting some volleys pretty short in the court. And Garnett able to get there with ease.
Yeah, he's inviting him to come up there. I think Ben feels a lot more comfortable when he's at the kitchen line.
We were just talking about this, Michelle. He's using the paddle he used to play with, the Yola, the second generation Hyperion?
I think it is, the Hyperion. Oh my goodness, with that forehand roll cross court, Ben Johns.
Somehow stays in, and Garnett gives a nod of approval to Johns for that one. But speaking of the paddle, he had been using, I believe, one of the Gen 3s or maybe the mod. But going back to the old reliable.
And, you know, we were talking about the difference in paddle technology. I love that he's using something that he's just so used to, and he's able to control the ball a lot better, you know, and that's his game. He's all about, you know, accuracy and finesse and not so much about power. So he relies on that, and good for him on sticking with Old Faithful. Oh, Ben Johns is there, but misses at the top of the net. These points are wild.
Loving to see it. And like you said, you know, he is inviting Garnett up to the kitchen line, and that we're getting some of these super entertaining rallies.
Mm-hmm. Short return from Ben Johns. Connor Garnett is going to get to that ball early and do some damage with that Tui.
5-6.
But you also notice, you know, Ben Johns doesn't always necessarily bring Connor Garnett up. Sometimes he keeps him back. So Connor Garnett is just doesn't know where to go at this point. He can't predict off of Ben Johns' paddle.
Right. The second misserve we've gotten from Ben Johns in this game.
5-6.
So smooth.
Just opens up the kitchen really well with that initial angle, does Ben Johns. 6-5.
Side out. 5-6.
It's interesting. It was such a great third there from Garnett. It looked like he may have had a chance to maybe take the fifth out of the air.
Right. But as we mentioned yesterday against Kwang Dong, we noticed that one of his strengths, Connor Garnett's strengths, is short hopping or taking the ball on the rise. So, you know, that's something that I'm looking forward to next year with all these players maybe coming into that midcourt and taking volleys, being a little bit more aggressive. The hustle, but Connor Garnett is clean with the forehand winner.
Just the speed there from Ben Johns. I mean, it's not often he's like on the run like that, and he was able to cover that court pretty quickly. But Garnett doing a really nice job on that forehand of reaching in and taking it early. A lot of times sending it cross court.
What Ben Johns is also doing really well right now is he's not overstepping his shots. So what happens when you overstep or you compensate is you pull yourself out of position a little bit more on the opposite side of your body. He does a really good job at just extending just enough so that he maintains his position for the next ball.
And then he just does that, and you're like, okay.
Right.
Still trailing by 3. That stays in. It looked like it was a little high. I can't blame Ben Johns for not going after that one. but it does stay in. One thing that always impresses me with these players is how, you know, they don't hit 95 or 100%. You know, they'll just hit these 70% drives a lot of the time that will end up staying in.
Ben Johns cutting that ball. A little bit of slice behind that backhand volley that keeps the ball down lower. Ball's traveling a little slower, but it forces Connor Garnett to move out of that position. Yeah, and he's doing the same thing on the forehand side, just cutting that volley. Cutting that volley so it's landing short in the court, shorter near the non-volley zone line, and staying down. That's a good place to position a ball so that your opponent can hit up on it.
And Johns is going to challenge the out call on that serve.
6-8.
It's like the same play every time, isn't it?
Right. Just on that backhand. He's really just kind of rotating his paddle face just to create that angle.
Yep.
Not doing too much.
So funny to see the differences between these two players. Connor Garnett very active with his footwork. He's up in the air hitting shots, and Ben Johns is very grounded.
Side out. 8-6.
And it was great. It looked like Johns kind of fakes the initial ATP, then goes angle, creates the ATP opportunity for Garnett, but Ben Johns is there. There's that cat and mouse as Johns gets to 9.
Come on. Side out.
Kind of like it was in our first match of the day, Kate Fakey taking on Lacey Schneeman. Both of these players dropped their opening matches, so when thinking about pool standings, very important. This result will be going into Friday.
7-9.
Connor Garnett's figured out that shot from Ben Johns. Is Ben going to change things up? Is he going to go down the line now more to the forehand side of Connor Garnett?
8-9.
Just an inspired point from Connor Garnett, running all over the court. I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. He's looking like the running man emoji, just all over the court.
He really does.
He really does, and say that with the absolute best intentions. It's an absolute compliment. Ties it up at 9.
What a shot from Connor Garnett, giving him a match point opportunity.
A 4-point swing right here for Connor Garnett. Chance to take this 1 and 2.
Side out.
Ben Johns has to make a move. The pressure is on.
9-10. Side out.
And it almost looked like Garnett was going to let that ball bounce, but then he kind of did take it out of the air, took it earlier, created that angle.
Yeah, taking that ball out of the air is so important. Takes away the time from your opponent.
10-9.
To the forehand now. A risky move from Ben Johns as he knows what's going to happen off the backhand side of Connor Garnett.
9-10.
Great control from Connor Garnett. The drop volley.
Match point number 3 coming up now.
10-9.
And it stays in for the second year in a row. Connor Garnett has taken down